Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Toast, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And we only have a few more months until the next generation of consoles are upon us. I can certainly say that the excitement for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is through the roof by this point, but there is still a lot of mystery that surrounds these consoles. One of such mysteries is the PlayStation 5 Dualsense controller, which seems to be packing a lot of tech inside. In fact, one developer is claiming that it feels so good that it made them say whoa. So we are going to talk about that and why the PlayStation 5 controller is just so impressive. Also, it's only been 1 week since the big Xbox Series X event that happened in July, but we may have already got confirmation for an August event. So we will talk about that as well and what we should expect to see there. So don't go anywhere just yet. Before we get into all that though, we have plenty more to talk about, starting off with the Avengers. So of course, Avengers is set to release on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on September 4th. But if you don't want to wait until September to play the Avengers, well, I got good news for you. Square Enix has officially announced that there will be a limited time beta running this August, and it sounds like it actually does have a lot of content to offer. You will be able to play the first story mission as well as 20 single player and co-op missions. So yeah, this beta could end up keeping you pretty busy depending on how long each mission lasts. Now there is some oddities to this beta though, and I will go over that. So this beta will be spread out throughout August, and depending on what platform you play on will dictate when you can play. So if you're on the PlayStation 4, you will be able to play on August 7th to the 9th if you have pre-ordered the game. Then on August 14th to the 16th, Avengers will be open to all PlayStation 4 players, but however, on Xbox One and PC, it will be a closed beta. Luckily though, the beta will be open to all players on August 21st to the 23rd. Oh, and you must have a Square Enix account to join the beta. Yeah, this is a weird way to do a beta. In my opinion, they should have just opened it up to everybody on those dates, but I do imagine that there is some kind of deal between Sony and Square Enix here. But nonetheless, go check out the Avengers if you're looking forward to that, or hey, maybe you're on the fence regarding this game and just want to check it out, and that's okay as well. Moving on, we have a couple of VR titles to talk about, and if you like virtual reality games, then I think that this is going to be very exciting. So Flight Simulator was announced today for Steam and VR. And by the way, let's take a moment to appreciate Microsoft releasing this game on Steam, because they have been doing a really good job at that here recently. Actually, if you look at the best-selling games on Steam right now, 3 of the top 5 games are from Xbox. You have Sea of Thieves, Grounded, and now Flight Simulator all in the top 5. Even Halo the Master Chief Collection is right up there as well on a regular basis, so Microsoft has become one of the best publishers for PC this year. That's crazy to think about, but back to Flight Simulator. It will support VR through the HP Reverb G2 later in the fall. And I know right away you're probably wondering about other VR headsets, and good news there as well. It will support all of the common VR headsets in a later free update. Asobo did note it will take them a few months, but this is a perfect game for virtual reality. I mean, it looks photorealistic, and I can only imagine how good this is going to feel in VR. I know fans have been asking for VR support for this game ever since it was announced, so great news there. Also, according to Resident Evil playtesters, Resident Evil 8 may end up supporting VR as well. Now this has yet to be confirmed, but I do think this makes sense. Resident Evil 7 also supported virtual reality, and that is one of the better VR games, so I think that this makes perfect sense, and I certainly hope this is true. But great news for anybody who likes virtual reality games. In other news, we have 2 quick updates for a couple of different games. Sea of Thieves is getting a big update by the name of Ashen Winds. Now this update sounds really awesome too. Sea of Thieves will be getting new cursed skeleton captains that will spawn through a fiery tornado, which looks fantastic. This is just a gorgeous looking game overall, but you will also be getting access to some new pets as well, and the really cool one is a flamethrower. Yeah, I know the fire in this game is really good looking as you can burn enemy ships, but to actually see a flamethrower in Sea of Thieves is going to be insane. Granted, this is not a traditional flamethrower, but rather if you defeat an Ashen Lord, you will be rewarded with their skull, which you can either sell or use as a flamethrower. How creative is that? Rare has just been knocking it out of the park with this game here recently, so go check that out because it is available right now. Also, 2K Games did give a quick update for NFL 2K. They did reach a deal with the NFL to have real-life players in NFL 2K, which is fantastic news for fans that are wanting more competition for American football games. Madden has become a little stagnant over the years, which, that does make sense. They really have had no competition whatsoever. With that said, Madden still holds the rights to be the only NFL simulator, so 2K NFL may end up being much more arcade-like, but we will have to wait and see what happens with that one. I remember playing the old 2K NFL games as a kid, and I always liked them a lot, so I am very curious to see what they can do with a non-NFL simulator. Let's talk about Xbox though, because the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, may have just let it slip that the next Xbox Series X event will be in August. I kind of assumed that would be the case, as it has been rumored for a while now, but Phil Spencer pretty much confirmed it in an interview with iJustine. It was pretty amusing to watch this though, because as soon as he says that we should hear more about it in August, he kind of stopped himself and looked around a little bit surprised. So I don't think he was actually supposed to announce this just yet, but there it is. More than likely, we will get another Xbox Series X event sometime in August. Now, I don't think this will be as big of an event as the July event, but I do think that there is going to be some big announcements here. I think that we may even hear more than a few fans come out and kind of say, why did they not announce this in July? And well, I do agree with that, but they did hold announcements back in order to try to counter the August PlayStation event, which is also rumored to be in early August. Maybe even next week if rumors turn out to be true, but yeah, let's go over what to expect with this Xbox Series X event. So something that Matt Booty said right at the end of the July event was that we heard about what 9 of the 15 Xbox studios was working on at that event, but we would hear about the others later on in the year. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that with the August event, at least a few of these will be announced. That means that there is a very real possibility that we could hear about the Initiative's next game, as well as Compulsion Games and NXO. The Initiative's game was actually highly rumored to be at the last event, as the Video Game Chronicles heard from their sources that they would be there, but it sounds like they got held back to this event. So maybe we finally see if those Perfect Dark rumors are true or not. I also do believe that this will be the event where Microsoft finally reveals Xbox Lockhart, their more affordable next-generation console. This has got to be the worst kept secret in the game industry right now, and I think that we will finally get that official announcement. And considering Lockhart may get revealed, we may even get to see that price tag. That's no guarantee though, considering Microsoft and Sony are pretty locked in on making the other announce the price first. So I guess that kind of depends if PlayStation announces the price early in August. That's not all though, because I think we are going to see some games that's already been announced, such as Battletoads, Age of Empires 4, and Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics and Battletoads have been rated recently, and Rare is teasing some new Battletoads info over on Twitter, so unless there is a surprise announcement soon, which is possible, I do expect we will see them at this event. A simple release date would be very nice. Last but not least though, I'm thinking we may get another reveal for Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite has been widely criticized for its visuals shown last week, but since then it has been revealed that the gameplay shown was a 4-month-old build and that it apparently looks much better now. Well, this event would be the perfect place to show fans a newer build of the gameplay to Halo Infinite and kind of alleviate some of those concerns. If all this does happen though, that would make for a pretty good event. But I will ask you, what do you think that they will talk about at this event, and will they finally reveal the price? Let me know in the comments below. On to our last topic of the day. One developer has very high praise for the PlayStation 5 Dualsense controller, and this is actually very exciting for PlayStation fans. Now, they did show this controller in a presentation with Jeff Keighley not long ago, which revealed several of its new features, such as 3D audio and adaptive triggers. If you don't know what adaptive triggers is, it basically simulates different vibrations within the trigger. So let's say you're pulling a bow and arrow back in a game, you would then feel the tension being simulated within the trigger itself to where it feels like a real-life bow in your hand. The thing about that presentation though was that Astro's Playroom was more exciting than the controller itself, and that's because a controller is all about how it feels. It's hard to show, and as of this moment, players cannot feel the controller for themselves. Well, this is something that Tango Gameworks game director echoes, but he seems surprised by just how good the DualSense controller felt thanks to its adaptive triggers, and this is what he had to say. You need to experience it directly because this is very difficult to explain both verbally and in text, but the DualSense haptics and adaptive triggers felt so good that it made us, the developers, say whoa, because they allowed for us to feel and experience the various actions and attacks like never before. And there it is. That is extremely high praise for the adaptive triggers for the PlayStation 5 controller. And if we look back at it, Jeff Keighley also said something very similar when he said that he never felt anything like it before. Now, Xbox One did introduce impulse triggers for the Xbox One controller back in 2013, so haptic feedback within triggers is not necessarily new. So let's keep that in mind, but it sounds like PlayStation may have pushed this technology just a step further. For me personally, I just want a controller to feel good in my hands, but I have to say, both the developer for Ghostwire and Jeff Keighley has me very curious as to what exactly these triggers feel like. Are they as good as what they're leading on? That's the question. I personally hope so, because even though the comfort of a controller is the most important thing in a controller, I'm always up for small evolutions here and there. Either way though, let me know your thoughts. Are you excited to try the DualSense controller out for yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you would like to support the channel on Patreon, thank you for helping make this content possible. Peace out.